Join us for a review of the Polestar 1. Let's go! Here in the front we can see the typical new Polestar grille with this dot structure, but pretty strong, looks a little bit Tektron-like, I don't know, with the Polestar logo then. Beautiful color here also for today, so definitely a very Scandinavian stylish design look. Then the Thor's Hammer LED daytime running light together with full LED unit right here. The length is at 4,58 meters, 15 foot 1 or 181 inches, 18 centimeters or 7 inches shorter than the Volvo S60 mid-size, so just as a comparison. So it's not a very long vehicle. The door handles here, they fold out. And then the mirrors here, very beautiful, almost frameless, really cool. The Polestar 2 has that as well. 21-inch wheels, really massive, what a styling. And also you see the valve caps, for example. And then this very stretched roofline, really cool, very strong shoulders. Almost has some kind of small Bentley Continental style, or what do you think? And also from the rear, a design object here, beautiful signature, and everything looks really aligned. There's a small wing lip that folds up when you drive faster than 100 kilometers or 60 miles an hour. The pure electric speed is 160 kilometers an hour or 100 miles per hour. And the pure overall speed, 250 kilometers an hour or 155 miles per hour. And by the way, one electric motor per wheel, and that means torque vectoring, active torque vectoring is possible, so that, for example, the outside corner wheel is spinning a little bit faster, gets more torque and then re-pushes you in the corner. 2-liter 4-cylinder combustion engine, 309 horsepower plus 68 horsepower from an ISG integrated starter generator in the front, and 2 more electric motors in the rear, 232 horsepower, and overall that accounts for 609 horsepower and 1000 newton meters of torque. 4.2 seconds is the acceleration figure to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. And you can charge this thing with 11 kilowatt AC or 50 kilowatt DC, that is possible. The battery size 34 kilowatt hours, so that's pretty massive for a plug-in hybrid vehicle, and the highest range of a PHEV on the market, more than 100 kilometers or more than 60 miles. Then in the lower part we can see the CFRP parts, carbon fiber reinforced plastics for lightweight building, and of course also for stiffness. But yeah, lightweight not really such an issue here because the battery adds so much weight anyway. So here we do see like a Volvo S60, a little bit pimped from the steering wheel, for example, just with the Polestar logo. Then we also have the Volvo-like seats. So yes, this is essentially a very expensive Volvo with some more other parts. Here, interesting with the contrasting seat belts. This is also available for the Polestar 2, for example. Also recently shown that to you. Surface here for the skin, for the seats. Yeah, I already told it. Just animal skin here for the seat surfaces. So in the Polestar 2 it's different. They have a more sustainable and animal-friendly approach, but here in the Polestar 1 they still went then with the old school stuff, sadly. Other than that, soon more dual screens and stuff, but this is also very well known from the Volvo models. And getting inside, wide door here, typical for a coupe, and you have a comfortable seat position. The Volvo seat ergonomics is usually pretty good, so you have a really nice position, and everywhere you look around, no B-pillar here of course, and also the top and so on. This is such a great glass all-around view that is creating a very unique experience. 1,86 meters or 6'1", and under this glass roof then there's still plenty of headroom left. Interior overview with a known Scandinavian design by Volvo. So indeed the Polestar 1 is more Volvo still, whereas the Polestar 2 is more unique in the layout already. Here you can see straight designer also from dashboard, additional Bowers & Wilkins speaker. That's always a good highlight here. Then also this carbon fiber structure, vertical screen, zoom more details to that. And then the lower part you still have a manual volume knob. That's actually quite cool. Also interesting sound always. Then this crystalline like shifting lever. The only thing is it's sequential, so like D and R, R and D. So you have like 2 steps between drive and reverse mode, and that's always a little bit, annoying. Set temperature to 22 degrees.
Temperature set to 22 degrees.
Well, that works. Digital instruments look like this. Left side speed, right side then for the power meter and also recuperation in the middle. That's how it looks like when you have a GPS route set. Head-up display is clear to read, speed and also a loud speed, always a nice addition. But here in this car, pretty much everything is standard. But for that price, I think we can also expect that. And here on this glass roof, there is this Polestar logo inside the glass. And this fixed glass roof in general goes all over the vehicle. In general, it creates such a light experience here in the car. Yeah, and then I'm here in this Polestar hole. Yeah, hardly able to sit here. And I put the co-driver seat to a position where I could, but yeah. It's not really, it's like in a Porsche 911, it's not really possible to sit here. There's ISOFIX here, however, and also top tether, top part, which is like beautifully done here. Yeah, but it's more like emergency seat or maybe for a child seat. So we open the trunk here with the key, and you can see there's not much to see, at least trunk-wise. More there, zoom out on that. So you see here, the cabin trolley fits in perfectly, but that's about it, about 140 liters. Here the width is actually a little bit more than the meter, but then of course the height, yeah, just barely 40 centimeters, and the poorest in length, here just 40 centimeters about in length. But even more interesting, yeah, it would also fit here in the vertical way, that it works. But then look at that, this is like really concept car showcase like here for the different electric components. Yeah, very interesting, fancy to see. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge. Here today, the active driving lounge with the Polestar 1, and we switch to that power mode directly, where the combustion engine and the electric motors, all of them, deliver us now the 1000 Newton meters of torque. And we do a flying start from 30 kilometers an hour, and guys, wait for that. Let's go. And that's 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles per hour. Holy moly, that was quite impressive. Really cool. Here, of course, at higher speeds it gets a little bit louder then, but stability here, lane change stability. Yeah, it's very stable. The suspension is very stiff. Steering feel is, look at that. It's like almost nothing in the middle. It's like, yeah, very artificial steering feel. That's probably a downside. But the suspension, I mean, that it's so stiff, in this case then here, at high speed, that's good. Typical motorway speed, 130 kilometers an hour. That's, I think, okay. Noise insulation wise, no problem. There's some strange noises from that top. That might be something, yeah, build quality issues for this concept style vehicle. By the way, even if you drive in the pure electric mode, you can drive on the motorway pure electric. That is possible. Even a little bit faster, so that's okay. And the pure electric acceleration is always, let's say, a little bit more fun to me. It's of course not that strong, but then it's rear-wheel drive only. Yay! And there's this torque vectoring, so 2 electric motors, like 1 per wheel. And so when you go into a corner, then the outside electric motor can give more torque, so you will again like pushed in the corner. That's of course a cool thing. Audi used as recently now also for the Audi e-tron S SUV and Sportback, as a contrast to the other ones that just have one motor in the rear. So and driving it all electric is, to me, what this car is also about. Yes, it's a plug-in hybrid vehicle, but it has the biggest PHEV range on the market overall, so with more than 100 kilometers. And I think we can then also, easily use that, So, and we also tested here and there, and 100 kilometers or 60 miles is indeed somewhat realistic. Fuel economy then always depends on like recharging, but if you predominantly use the combustion engine, then you also can score some like 7 liters, 100 kilometers, 30 US MPG somewhat, 40 UK MPG somewhat in this region. But that again totally depends on how often and when do you plug in. When you hit the brakes, recuperation is happening. I also see it in the digital gauges. So first, of course, regenerative braking, and then when even more braking power would be needed, then the real brakes are being applied. Other driving modes would be all-wheel drive, which is ensuring that you always have all-wheel drive. That is more a thing that counts more for the Volvo SUVs, I would say. That you can even have all-wheel drive even if the battery is depleted. Then still, power is being sent then to the electric motors by the combustion engine. For this car, I mean, it's more probably about the power mode, because this one is also the all-wheel drive mode, but just powerized all-wheel mode. So maybe either go with the pure, or then go with the hybrid mode. In the hybrid mode, it's predominantly driving also in an electric mode. To me, the biggest difference hybrid mode and EV mode is that when you're just in EV mode and like max it out, then it stays in the electric mode. And when this traffic light here jumps to green, we'll just try it out. I'm in the pure mode now. Oh, it's already, let's see. And like flooring it out like now. Good, out of the corner. Nice acceleration, all pure electric. This then rather feels like driving a Polestar 2, and really good feeling, just not necessarily in the steering, but good feeling from the car. It's still a heavy vehicle because of the batteries, although they use this CFRP parts here and there. But when you have such a big battery, you can't deny that. So usually I would leave it then probably in the hybrid mode. It also makes sense, for example, then when you're going a little bit faster than this maybe then overtaken or taken by the combustion engine. And when you're in the city and slower, then use the electric drive. This is then how you can make it most efficient. In a tunnel, again, I think it's not too loud, so they have insulated the car very well from the outside world. And the engine doesn't sound too good. It's this 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. Can't expect too much from it, but as we've shown to you, this car has more than enough performance, definitely. They're going off. We can once more go to this power mode and acceleration when we are already at speed from 90 kilometers an hour. Let's go. That's once again 200, and now here fast in the corner. It doesn't give me the safest feeling, to be honest. So the suspension is stiff, but sometimes at some waves it shakes up anyway. So I can't say that driving dynamics wise this is a good car. So to the left again, whoa. See here the steering also, So a lot of the things that driving dynamics wise is, let's say, a little bit doubtful. So once again you feel that this is more like a concept stage of a vehicle. It has like a lot of impressiveness and a lot of power. But recently driven the Polestar 2, you definitely feel that this is their vehicle, So they built all of this stuff here just to get a little bit more ready for the Polestar 2. And the Polestar 2 is like so much more a better vehicle, like in any respect, you know. But even more so, it is interesting to drive it here now, due to the availability and that this car is so limited in the numbers. It was the case that we first drove the Polestar 2 and then the Polestar 1. Yeah, but that's how it is sometimes. Nevertheless, a very interesting and emotional vehicle here. And now to the conclusion for today with the Polestar 1. Yes, this is more a halo vehicle. We see it in the trunk. We see it that it's, feels somewhat hand-built, but not in a good way, more in a bad way. So a lot of rattling and squeaking noise on the interior. But styling-wise, wow, such a beautiful vehicle. And really, really cool just from looks. Also nice styling on the interior, although this is just reminding us of the so far Volvo models. The Polestar 2 definitely changes that, also especially with the Android infotainment system, Android-based infotainment system. This then here a little bit more old school, but this car actually prepared what has been done later on with the Polestar 2, or what has been improved. The driving performance, power-wise, very impressive, cool drive. Driving dynamics, agility, suspension-wise, I think that can be improved, so wasn't really convinced of that. However, due to this, glass house feeling, this still somehow feels very unique. So I have to say, the Polestar 2 is more Polestar. The Polestar 1 here is a little bit more Volvo. Yes, I would rather say this is a very, very expensive Volvo. It's not really worth the price. You can also go with the Volvo S60 on the one hand. On the other hand, yes, it does have the unique features and also the real power, the real performance, but definitely not worth the price. But so interesting to see this halo vehicle, how the Polestar brand, the own brand, then started with Volvo. What do you think? Please leave me your comments in our comment section. Definitely a very unique and interesting car, that's for sure. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and also check out our Polestar 2 review if you haven't done so far.